next speaker is Vicki Gavin. Vicki is the Compliance Director and Head of Business Continuity and Information Security for the Economist Group. Thinking about media and protecting privacy, we realized it takes a team, or better still, a village, to protect our most valuable assets. Vicki's talk is entitled The Human Firewall: Security People Are Built, Not Born, and she will share with us our thoughts on how everyone can play a role in cybersecurity. Please welcome Vicki Gavin to the stage. Here you go.
Thank you.
And that's yours.
Thank you. Wow. I'm not sure how I'm going to follow the last one. So I think everybody here has probably done some thinking about the insider threat. It seems to be one of the key threats that everybody is dealing with today. And for a long time, we used to think of the insider threat as that determined attacker whose goal was to become a trusted insider. But what the statistics show us is it's actually our own users who are causing most of the errors that we're seeing, the threats that we're trying to defend against. And so, how are we going to stop it? What are we doing? I mean, for most of us, that means we've implemented a user awareness program. By a show of hands, who here has implemented a user awareness program? Okay, wow, only about 50%. I would have thought the number was higher. That could be part of the problem. The other side, of those people who put their hands up, please put your hand up again if you think your user awareness program is effective. And we've got one, nope, two in the audience who think that their user awareness training is actually working. I think it was Einstein that said, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. Why do we keep doing this user awareness training when it's not working? And why don't the current strategies actually work? Well, it has a lot to do with the fact that we're people, not machines. And people don't learn because you put a gun to their head. They don't learn no matter how big that gun is. People learn because they want to. We actually have to ensure that if we're going to provide awareness training, that we make sure that the people that we're trying to train want to learn what we've got to teach. We also have to think a lot about how we're doing it. I won't ask for a show of hands, but typically most user awareness training is computer-based, and quite frankly, they're as boring as the day is long. Usually you have to answer a series of questions to get to the next page. And I don't know, I personally, when I have to do those, like to guess at the answers and see how well I can do without actually reading any of the material. It's really not effective. People learn in a lot of different ways, and it's only a very, very small fraction of the population that learn by reading. People learn by doing, by hearing, by seeing, all different ways. And so if you're going to conduct user awareness, you've got to really appeal to all of those senses. The other thing is that it takes most people 3 weeks to learn a new habit. And by a new habit, I mean anything. So if you can get somebody to do something every day for 3 weeks, chances are they'll keep doing it. How long are most user awareness programs? 30 minutes once a year? What kind of sticking power is that going to have? Is it likely that anyone is going to form a new habit in 30 minutes once a year? I mean, I think I can safely say almost everybody will have played that childhood game where there are a bunch of objects on a table and you look at it for 30 seconds and then you cover it up and you have to remember what was on there. And usually the winner gets 5, maybe 6 of those items. I mean, That's what's happening with your typical once-a-year training. And what that leads us to is blaming the user. Well, we gave them training, why didn't they learn it? I want to ask the question of the cybersecurity professionals here in the room, how many of you were born knowing what you know today? I don't think it will come as a surprise to anyone that the answer to that was 0. No one was born a cybersecurity professional. Do you consider yourselves particularly talented in the learning field? Or are you like most of the other people you know, reasonably intelligent and able to learn things? Well, everybody who works at your organization is in that same boat. It's a matter of making sure that when you teach them things, that you do it in a way that allows them to actually learn it. And if you do that, then you can take what is considered your biggest problem, your internal user, and actually turn them into your biggest asset. I like to refer to my team as my human firewall. And I say my team, I mean the 1,500 people around the globe who work for The Economist, who day in and day out are helping us to make sure that cybercriminals don't get inside. In my opinion, those people are the only truly adaptable control that I operate. I mean, we hear a lot about machine learning, but machine learning is limited in how much it can learn and how quickly it can learn. Humans can learn instantaneously when they have to. We are all prepared to take the sum total of all the knowledge we've ever amassed and make a sensible decision about a new situation that's presented itself for the first time. Machines, not so much. To give you an example, the biggest threat that we face at The Economist are phishing emails. We fear, or not fear, but we defend ourselves primarily against activists who are trying to attack our social media sites, our websites, and get their message out. And typically the way those people attack is by sending out phishing emails. So I need to make sure that when somebody at my organization opens a phishing email, that ideally they don't click on that link. And so what we did is some years ago now, we organized a phishing contest. And we asked everybody to send us their phishing emails for a month. And for every phishing email they sent us, we gave them a raffle ticket for a security blanket. Beautiful handmade quilt, but we called it a security blanket. And for a month, people were madly sending us phishing emails. So why is it that something as simple as asking people to send me phishing emails for a month had the effect that I wanted? Well, it's because without telling them they were going to learn how to identify a phishing email, I actually had them do it. I had them do that behavior for 5 weeks. Ooh, that's 2 more than the 3 that are needed to form a new habit. By making sure that the contest itself was a little bit interesting and different and introduced a little bit of whimsy with the security blanket, I piqued their interest. I got them to come back and keep doing it. By having them send things in, I had them do something quite active. And that activity helps people to remember. When you physically move, it helps you to remember things. we're reasonably certain that this worked, first of all, because we don't have a lot of problem with phishing email today. But shortly after we ran this contest, we were attacked, we're pretty certain, 3 times, on 3 different occasions, by the Syrian Electronic Army. And not once was their attack successful. So, to finish off, in order to build the best defense that you possibly can with your people, you need to make sure that the training and awareness activities you provide are actually going to deliver the results you want. Thank you.